Good morning, everybody. It is the 30th of April, 2024, and last week we drew the Queen Anne leg. This week we're going to go ahead and 3D model it. So we've got our outline where we want it. Let's go ahead and get right into it. We're going to go to our Aspire 12. We're going to go to a new version of it because I want to keep this one open and then bring the vectors in. Now, the trick today is we're going to hold down the Shift key when we click on Create a New File. Now what that's going to do for us is it's going to change the resolution here. Going up to only very high, we're going to go to maximum. Now what maximum is going to do for us, just allow us to get more pixels in a working area. And the working area we're going to go with today is going to be, I think we had this at 18. This is going to be at 4. Our thickness, we'll just call it 3 just for fun. We're going to put our XY datum on this front edge right here. We're going to use an offset of -2. We're going to push this one down. Not in our X, however, we're going to do that in our Y, -2. Okay, so what that does, that brings our X0 on the front and the Y0 in the middle. Go ahead and click on OK. Right. Now we'll come over here, grab our vectors, copy them, Control C. We're going to paste them here. Okay, we're going to center them, rotate them counterclockwise. That's going to be with the 9, and there's our part. Okay, so here's our 18-inch leg ready to go. We're going to go ahead and start building our cross sections for our 2-rail sweep. I'm going to go into node mode. I'm going to delete this top section and delete this bottom section. That's going to give us now 2 rails, this one here and this one here. We want to make sure our start points are on the front, so P. You hit N right here, you can see that that's our start point. Rails going from left to right. And click on this one. Start points here, rails going from left to right. So those are important things. And now let's start thinking about how this leg's going to look. And so, on the top of our leg here, do we want to have a radius front? Do we want a square front? What are we looking for in this thing? We know that this is right here. We need to get a measurement. So we're going to go grab our dimension tool. That's going to be up here. Okay. And we're going to go vertical. We're just going to go from here to here. And that's going to be 1.99. We're just going to call it 2. And we're going to grab a square here. And we're going to grab one here. We're going to do like a 1.5 by 1.5. Create it. Rotate it once, because what we want is a side to side of 2. We're going to go to our node mode, delete off the bottom half here, and then let's just check our sizing. So we're going to make that 2. Apply. That's going to be our first cross section here, if we leave it a square leg. If we want the front edge to be radius, then we need to radius this down. That's all up to us. We're going to leave it square just for fun. Now as we come over here, do we want a sharp edge and then a square? How do we want to build that? So we're going to just do a couple of different options, see what we like, and decide from there. We're going to copy and paste this cross section. We're going to come down here. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this to the bottom, so we have the whole thing again. Okay. Join it back together. And then we're going to come over here to our fillet, and let's make this a 3/4 inch. Let's just see what it does. Something like this. Perfect. Love it. Okay, we're going to insert a midpoint right here. Insert midpoint. Okay. And then we're going to get rid of the bottom again, just like before. Okay. So now we have a radius portion on the front of our leg. Okay. So we'll see what we like. Let's start laying this out, and let's see what these 2 cross sections are going to do, and then decide what other cross sections we need. Okay, so we're going to toggle our 2D and our 3D view so that we can see our vectors here, but then also we can see our 3D view here. So we're going to rock this kind of up like this. All right, so we'll go down here to our 2-rail sweep. We're going to select our first rail here, shift, grab our second rail there, use selection. Let's just grab this guy, click here, and just hit apply. So right now, we would get a leg that would look like this. Not quite what we're after, right? It's a really sharp pointed. We're not quite happy with that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to click right here. And then we're going to come down and make sure this is perfectly straight up and down. And so we're going to bring it up about right there. We're pretty happy with that one. Okay, then we're going to grab this one. We're going to go right here. And we want to put that one there. Yeah, that's good. And then let's bring this one back, and I want it just right above there. Oh, don't you do that, you silly tool. There you go. All right, what that's going to allow us to do by getting 2 dots there, we're going to transition from one to the other one, and let's just hit apply now, see what it does to our leg here. Okay, and now we're starting to get a nice curved section. We're going to click here, make sure that this one stays nice and flat. Let's apply it again. So what we're looking for is a nice transition between the knee of the leg and the top of the leg. And so we have this flat right here, and that's going to be there for a minute. We're going to play with it a little bit more, maybe fix it. Down here on the bottom, and we have this sharp point again because we went back to sharp. So we need to transition it over here. Then I want to transition this point, make sure that it looks nice. And let's hit apply again. Okay. All right, now one of the cool things that Aspire did a while back with Vectric is they put together something called shadow shading, and that works really good most of the time, but in some cases like this one, when you turn it off so we can actually see a little bit better the front of that leg. And I'm decently happy with it, maybe not quite, but there is the start of our Queen Anne. Now from here we can decide if we like it, if we don't, we need to add more cross sections. So let's go ahead and just take a look at what the whole thing looks like, and then we'll come back and decide. So we're going to go ahead and click on close. So here is the first half of our Queen Anne leg. We're going to click on it. Then we're going to go down to, excuse me. We're going to export the visible model as an STL, and we're going to close it with an inverted front. We're going to triangulate that. Now we're just going to see what it looks like when it's done. So we can rock this leg up here and say, is that the Queen Anne leg we're looking for? You know, and I think it's okay. I think maybe I want to radius the back side of this one down here a little bit more, just to make it look a little better. Okay, and then I want to make sure I have a good portion here to lay something on my knee, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so we need to kind of radius this back over here. So I'm going to click on close. So I'm not going to keep that one. All right. We're going to go back here. And let's go ahead and just get rid of this guy. We can delete our model back off, select these guys again. Oh, before we do that, let's build our last section. So we did this. I'm going to go back over here, fill it. Oh, and let's set this one again to 3/4. Let's get that one taken off of there. Okay. And it's saying I can't quite fit it there, and that's probably true because it's a little big. So let's go down to 0.625, and let's build that one. Now let's just see what that one looks like, see if we like it, or decide if we're just going to do it simply by giving it a half circle. And we'll decide that in just a second. So again, toggle our screens top and bottom. Let's do our 2-rail sweep. We're going to do our front rail first. That's our active rail. That's going to be like our prominent rail. It's going to turn red. The other one's going to turn green. And that's because this one is the rail that when we click on these, that side is going to be the front side. Okay, let's go ahead and add these back in here. So here we are here. Bring it pretty much straight. Okay, let's grab this one. Let's get in nice and tight. I'm going to put it down here just a little bit. We're going to just see what we can add a different one, please. Let's move you right there. Move you right there. Okay. Always do that. When they're so close, they tend to select each other. So you kind of got to do one of those. Okay, there we are there. All right, and we're going to keep this one here. I'm going to keep it until maybe right here. We'll just see. And we might move that up or down and play with it, and that all dependent upon us. Again, this is your this is your drawing, so you're going to make this however you want. So just kind of build it whatever you think is going to be nice, and we'll just see what it does. So we're going to hit apply, take a look at it. Okay. You know, I kind of like the bottom. but I'm thinking maybe I want to bring that radius up a little higher. So I'm going to put that radius right there instead, and I'm going to hit apply here. Let's see what it does. Okay, that's a transition I'm happier with. Now, again, all up to you. I've got a sharp point right here, and I'm going to radius down into like a full half round, which I really, really like. I think on the bottom right here, I'm going to pin this one here, pin this one here. Okay, this is going to, let's go ahead and hit apply again. That should radius out the back side just a little differently. There we go. And that's going to give it a full half round there at the bottom. Let's see what it looks like. Now, every once in a while, if you get zooming too much, just go back to that orthogonal view here and just hit top again. You'll get back to it. So what I'm looking for is, does that look about like what I want? And as I rotate this thing around, I'm going to say I'm pretty happy with it, at least for now. Now, we might change it again, but let's go ahead and close this one. And again, like last time, select this, go up here to where we can create an STL, close with an inverted front, and export this STL. We're going to triangulate it so we can see it. And once we're happy with it, see, now that makes me pretty happy. I'm okay with this one. All right. Now, there could be a little bit more you could play with this, and there always is, and you can work on these as long as you want. But one thing I'm going to tell you right now is I don't want you to get stuck in what I like to call the paralysis of perfection. All right. If you have any questions, definitely give me a quick phone call. My number is 800-279-4570. Take a look at the Legacy Maverick. It is the machine that can make this thing happen. Again, thank you guys for coming. Be nice to each other. We'll see you guys in the next one.